Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Megan Pauly.
Thank you, Steve, for inviting me to talk. It's a pleasure to be here. Okay, so I'd like to tell you all about my story since, about my progress since November last year, about my fear of public speaking. So I used to be someone who would say, no way will I ever get up, to being here today. So I was scared to speak in front of groups and avoided it at all costs. If I organised an event that required a speech at the end, I would get my husband to come in because he's really good to talk to other people. So that was working for me, and I thought, why on earth would I change it? Why would I need to talk to anyone else? I can just bring my husband in whenever I needed to have a talk done. So I answered an email from Steve asking what was the biggest challenge about public speaking. And I put a few comments on and sent an email off, and most of that list was to do with me. Will they listen to me? Will I forget something? Is my hair messy? Is my bra strap showing? Do I look good? And I don't have anything interesting to say, and I don't know enough to be able to talk anyway. So by mentioning these fears, I became aware of how I was holding myself back. It was just my normal way of living, and I didn't know any different before I did this project. So now I can see the potential available to me if I'm confident to say yes to speak. I love to help people, and over the years I've gained a lot of knowledge and experience, and I think that that would be really good to share. So I imagined the possibilities of ways to help others if I chose to speak to them and offer my ideas, and that got me excited about my why nots, why wouldn't I talk. So today I want to share with you my 3 tips that I find useful to maybe help you get along in these techniques for yourselves, and that is action, focus and persistence are my 3 that I use all the time. So while I was excited, I watched a lot of YouTube, and that was mostly on public speaking. I followed some tapping scripts that you find on the internet, and I used logosynthesis and the intention statements that you've seen this weekend. So I found some of my past experiences to tap on along the way, and I wrote everything down so I could come back to that and work on it as I went through. So that was my action. So after Steve's free webinar, I started asking myself what-if questions. What if I wasn't scared to talk to my camera club because I joined the camera club and none of us knew anything and we needed the basic level of stuff to come through, so we couldn't get expert photographers to come, we sort of just did it ourselves. So then I said, what if the members would love what I've talked about? What if it helped them take better photos? What if they get excited? So that changed my thoughts from the negative for a little bit to the possibilities. So I did present to Camera Club to 11 people. I was terrified at the start. I rushed through it. I had my little sheet. Very glad when it was finished, but also glad that I'd done it as well. So I moved on to my next project after a few webinar sessions. I needed to make a video to win a scholarship to a business course. So I really loved the atmosphere of the business course, but it was quite a big price to pay, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that, so I thought I'd go for the scholarship. So I sat down one evening and wrote out my script of what I wanted to say, and the next morning I couldn't sleep, so I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, grabbed my video and went out to video myself saying the words. And that was the hardest thing that I've ever done. It was really horrible. I kept stumbling, I tried deep breathing, I was tapping as I was going along, and my body was just full of tension and fear. It was just like crushing around my chest. So I replayed my first efforts, I had a look at that, and it was pretty bad. The only time I'd smiled in the video was at the end, the last sentence, and I knew that it was over. So my son helped me with that. We laughed along and did some more takes together, and that made it a lot better than trying to do it on my own. If I hadn't done this previous public speaking work and all the stuff that I've sat down to do, I wouldn't have been able to do that video. So my thoughts at that stage were I never want to do it again because I had such stress going through my body. I was over it, I'd done it once and I thought, yep, I've done it once, I don't need to do it again. So my stress level stayed high after that for about a week because I wasn't able to work on it. I had other things going on in my life and I couldn't work on the tapping. So the next webinar, Steve and I actually did some work together, and when he asked me where have I felt that stress before, I was taken back to when my dad passed away and I was sitting beside him while he did. So that was really same stress feelings that I'd felt when I was doing the video, and it was quite a big event. It took me a week of constant tapping to try and calm those feelings down after we'd done the session. So Sheza shared a comment on the next webinar session that really resonated with me. She said, I think it was her father had said to her, do you want to live in a little house with a little car, with a little job and a little life? And I thought, no, I don't want that. I want to be able to get through these things, and public speaking is part of everyone's life. So that sort of helped me keep that as a comment in my mind. So I spent time doing polarity work and tapped while structuring this talk using Terry Power's tips from our bonus webinar session. A friend of mine recently came to speak at our camera club, and he was also uncomfortable with talking to a group. He'd seen my video that I did for the scholarship, and he said that if Megan can do it, then I can do it. So he came along and had a really fantastic little chat to everyone, and it was really good. And my son needed to give a speech for English recently, so the family was coaching him to get through all of that, and he got top high marks for that. He was really pleased. So now back to my 3 tips to help you utilise tapping. So number 1 for me is action. You must take action to make the most of what you learn. Try writing your thoughts down, maybe start a notebook that's just for you for tapping that you can keep going back to. Set aside time to do this specific work, all these value stuff. Just set aside half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever you can, and do that. Maybe tap 5 minutes before you go to bed, or tap when you wake up in the morning. And does everyone go for a walk sometimes? How hard is it to do this while you walk down the street or walk around the block or whatever you're doing, or on a treadmill? It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to buy a new outfit. You don't have to get new equipment, and you don't have to have someone else do it for you. It's there and you can do it yourself. So everything's right there with you wherever you go. You have your fingers, you have your meridian points, and you have your thoughts all the time. So write your thoughts down on paper and work through a certain issue. Sometimes you can be led to unexpected places that you never thought you would show up, as you've seen already. This way you can go back and work some more on those thoughts and become aware of what you really feel. We tend to push things aside for different reasons. We may not want to go there, we may not have time, or we get interrupted by certain things. So you've invested your time and money this weekend. Think of all the handouts Steve's given you as 5 $100 bills. Would you put them on a shelf or in the cupboard and never look at them again? I don't think you would, so look at your notes and think of them as the value that you're getting. Take action after this weekend, because what you learn from Steve's years of collecting knowledge and condensing the most useful parts for you is more valuable than you'll ever know. Number 2 is focus. Once you've found an area to work on, put your whole attention on it. Focus on what thoughts, feelings, or sounds, or whatever comes up for you in your body. Do you like that feeling that comes up? Or does it make you feel uncomfortable? Does that feeling energise you, or does it deplete your energy? Think about that, because you don't want to go around the world with your energy being depleted because of things that you can resolve. So tap and keep tapping, and if you can, follow where it goes. Notice the differences or changes, zoom in on it, and sometimes you can ask the feeling a yes or no question, and it will actually give you an answer. So just bring all your attention to it right now. Don't push it away and wait for later. So number 3 is persistence. You must practice this on a regular basis to get a sustained effect. I've heard it's beneficial to retain information by studying notes 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week and 1 month afterwards. So keep going back to your notes and having a look. Don't forget about them. So make a commitment to do tapping for 1 day. So after, maybe tomorrow, just tap for 1 day. And then after you've done that day, tap for another day. Take small steps to go along, or set yourself a goal for 2 weeks, 21 days to do some tapping and then notice what happens. So I tap every day. It may be when something comes up, like there's an idiot on the road that crosses in front of me and I'm scared he's going to cause an accident. So I might tap, or I'll tap if I see a Facebook post or an email or something comes through and it brings something up for me, I'll tap then. And I also sit down and do particular beliefs. So this values work, I'll sit down and actually work on that. So prevent the tapping from getting lost in your game of life and persist with this amazing modality. We have to stop letting our beliefs and fears control us in a limiting way. If you start taking action, focus on what comes up and practice, you'll enjoy everything you do so much more. So I've gone from here to here since November last year, and it's been an amazing year of possibilities for me. So thank you all for listening to my story in progress. What I'd like to say is, what will you do to implement all of this stuff after this weekend? So it would be great if you all do it, own it, and live it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Come back here. So you have to stand out here for a little while longer. Yeah, please do. I was listening to this and I was thinking, wow. More wow, because most of you don't know how far Megan has actually come to even think about coming out here. To even think about coming out
That's
here would have
true.
been outside the realm of possibility. And I read once, you measure the size of the achievement by the amount of obstacles you've had to overcome to achieve the goal, rather than the actual thing. So I would love to go back to some of those original emails you sent me about how impossible any of this would be, just to give you a reminder of what you wrote. And maybe I'll send them out to everyone here so that you'll see just how far it was when she couldn't even conceive of this possibility. And then progressively along the way, from doing the webinar sessions to, okay, maybe I could present at the Camera Club, where I know something, but I could never present anything on tapping.
No, that's right, I did say that.
Now you have. A round of applause.